Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're listening to this. This is Coffee with Kevin. And of course, here's my coffee, and I am truly blessed to have it this morning. I hope you're enjoying a nice hot cup of coffee, hot cup of tea, a cold drink, maybe water, juice, whatever it is you're drinking. Here's to you. So, this is my coffee, and I am Kevin. I'm Kevin Martin. I am a mindset coach, a hypnotherapist, an author, a speaker, a trainer, a course creator. I do a lot of different things, but also I am a live streamer. And here I am. Yes. Yes. Let's see if there's anyone with us this morning. Not yet. Not yet. No comments yet, but that's all right. Today is May 27th. We're almost out of May. We're going into the 6th month. We're finishing the 5th month of 2025. Can you imagine that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's just incredible that we're this far into the year. So May 27th. May 27th, what is it about? May 27th. Well, first of all, a really cool thing. And I got to see this in person. The Golden Gate Bridge debuted, I believe it was 1937, on this day. And I have seen and driven on the Golden Gate Bridge, and it is phenomenal. It's a really cool bridge. So there's pictures of it everywhere. Zoom, actually, one of the Zoom standard backgrounds is a Golden Gate Bridge. So if you've done Zoom and you saw people with the Golden Gate Bridge in back of them, it's not because they were sitting outside in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's because it's a Zoom background. Okay, I got a background here that's not holding up too much. Also today, on the 27th, it is a national day. It's actually an international day of something as well. What is it? National Hamburg Day, and it's International Hamburg Day as well. So today is a day about celebrating and having a hamburger, if you like hamburgers. If you're a vegetarian, there are plenty of and there's the Impossible Burger, a plant-based burger. So you can still have a hamburger. And of course, hamburgers, I think, are known to have been created in Hamburg, Germany. But there's all sorts of rumors about them having been created here. In the mid-1800s, there was a Hamburg cruise line that served these sandwiches that are similar to hamburgers. And then in 1904, there's a World Fair where this Hamburg sandwich, was seen for the first time in a big open place to the public. So Hamburg has its history. Hamburg history with me is, I think I first tasted one at a McDonald's when I was a kid. So that's the Hamburg history with me. Anyway, good morning, Brenda. So that's it's also not be national holiday because hamburgers are consumed in America. It's an American thing, but it's also an international holiday as well. You can find hamburgers a lot of places around the world, maybe not as much as you can find them here. So yeah, happy International and National Hamburger Day to you. Okay. Nothing. I got a little. I always got to figure out the direction I'm pointing to. Why is that there? Remember, fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. It's a wonderful quote. We're talking about courage today. So courage is in everyday life. I was going to do something along the lines of our holiday yesterday, Memorial Day, remembering those who have served in the military and gone before us. I'm leaning back as to get a little distortion as possible. I get a little bit here. I'll go with this. So Memorial Day was remembering our veterans that have passed. And my father was a veteran of World War II, and he passed about 5 or 6 years ago. And so we remembered him. And there's lots of people. My uncle, who I was very close to, my uncle Dick, was a veteran of the Korean War, and he passed a few years back as well. So we're talking about remembering people who fought for our freedom, people who are out there risking their lives and doing hard work, for our country to keep us safe. So I wanted to do something, and courage came up because a lot of these people had so much courage. A lot of these people had so much courage. In these wars we're talking about, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, they're not as distant past, because we've had the Gulf War, we've had the Afghanistan War, we've had skirmishes all over the world that U.S. veterans have been involved with. And when they get involved with these things, it takes courage. So I wanted to talk about courage. But in doing so, I found one other national day that it was today. It's called the National Nothing to Fear Day. Nothing to Fear Day. So a reminder that this sign that's next to me, a reminder that fear is a reaction and courage is a decision. When we talk about courage, we often think about fear. So I wanted today being the National Fear Day, just by coincidence. You want to know why it's the National Fear Day? Because on this day, May 27th, in 1941, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt declared that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That's why it's National Fear Day today. And the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Basically, I'm going to take fear and I'm going to take courage and bring it into our everyday lives. We don't have to be a soldier. We don't have to be someone prominent out there in the front lines risking our lives to have courage. We can do that in our everyday lives, in our jobs, in our businesses. If we're first responders, of course, that's courage. Our first responders, our medical teams, our police officers and stuff. Yes, that truly does take courage on a day-to-day basis with them. But for the rest of us, it takes courage too. And we're going to be talking about courage today. Okay. Let's see. I'll get that. Yeah, I'll get a little closer, talk to you about it. And I've got some, as on every day, we have some quotes. All right. Courage is not the absence of fear. We're just talking about fear, but the triumph over it. It's not the absence of fear. We're going to have fear. We're all going to have fear. No matter how brave, how courageous you can be, there's going to be fear in there, and it should be. It should be. Fear is a sign to us that we need to be careful. We need to take caution. But once we can face our fear, once we can get through the fear, that's what courage is. The triumph over it. That was Nelson Mandela, and that man had a lot of courage. Okay. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. Every experience that you have, that you know you have fear, but you go through it anyway. That's when you gain strength, courage, and confidence. I love this quote. It is really good. And that is by Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of Franklin D. Roosevelt. So it's funny that it's interesting. And that's just a pure coincidence again. I found after I picked all my quotes and everything, I found that it was National Fear Day. Nothing to Fear Day, of course. Courage doesn't always roar. We think of a courage of a lion. Arr. Sometimes courage is a quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I'll try again tomorrow. And this is a great quote for all of us. When you go through one of those difficult days, and it doesn't matter whether it's personal difficulties, relationship, or whatever it is, or in your job or in your career, or just in your life, and you say to yourself, I'm going to try again tomorrow. That's courage. That's courage. Knowing that you've just experienced so much trauma and you're still going to try again tomorrow. That is wonderful. Joan, speaking of courage, thank you for being here. Have the courage to follow your heart. I gotta get my lighting is not as great as I want it to be. I wonder if that that didn't do it. Have the courage to follow your heart. They somehow already know that you truly want to become what you truly want to become. So have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Your heart and intuition somehow already know what you truly want to become. Now, Steve Jobs is a hero of mine because he got through so much, but his creativity was so grand that he changed the world. He truly did change the world for us, for computing, for this thing we all have is the data phone. Didn't invent the first cell phone, absolutely not. But he changed the world when he basically let us know what we like. And that's what he was in the job of doing all his career, is letting people know what they like instead of discovering it. That's how we worked. That's how he figured it out long before we knew it. And he was a genius. And so have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. And I guess he followed because he somehow already knew what we truly wanted. That's pretty cool. And our last quote of the day. Is it takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. It takes courage to be genuine. It takes courage to really, really not only show ourselves, but really to accept ourselves, who we truly are. That takes courage. And I love that. To grow up is the first part of about that. Sometimes, not growing up is us hiding from who we are and who we should be, or our responsibilities. And become who we are, truly, truly are. Okay. Got someone else come in here today. A couple more. Hey, Joan, Larry. Yes. Great. Joan, I'm glad that speaks to you. That's cool. It was great having you all here. Don't forget, if you got in a little late, it is National Burger Day, Hamburger Day. Go out and have a hamburger. It's National Nothing to Fear Day. And there is nothing to fear except fear itself. That's why it's National Nothing to Fear Day, because FDR said that back, I want to say 64 years ago, 66 years ago. How's that? Yeah, it's really cool. Take the courage to be who you really are today, whether it's in your job or your business, with your clients or your workmates, or at home with your family, with your friends, with the people you're dealing with on a regular basis. Be who you really are. Don't hide yourself. Accept yourself. All right. Take care, everyone. Have yourself a phenomenal week. And you know, it's not me who does that for you. It's you to make it a phenomenal week. Make it an incredible day. Take care. Bye.